Got it. Right. So Isaiah 60 and right, because I was saying Babylon is fallen. I don't know where I was actually before it fell off. Anyway, Isaiah 60 and Isaiah 60 and 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. Let me read it again. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. That's what's happening right now. If you check out the book of Ezekiel chapter 37, you will see that the Most High is raising up his men. He will put the light within his men, and those men are going to go out there upon the four corners of the earth and going to teach the word unto the one-third. And you have to understand, Heavenly Father willing, I was one of those men, still am, that have heard this word through the internet, through the sun, through the light of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, through the men of the Lord that taught me this truth. And until this day, I have this, Lord willing, I have this truth. And then I spread it out as much as possible. And I'm talking to everybody, because that's just madness. The scripture says that don't give your pearls unto, it's not my pearls. Don't give your pearls unto swine and dogs. Those are swine ass jakes and dog ass jakes. You don't give your pearls unto them. You know, if you see them, if you with that Rasta shit, I'm not talking to you. If you with that Santa Maria stuff, I'm not talking to you. You know, you got the Caesar Borgia, you got Maria and all that type of stuff. I ain't talking to you. You know, if you know about it, you know, I'll mention it and stuff like that. But like I said, if you got that Rasta thing, I ain't talking to you. Some of them I talk to you. It depends on what type of mind state. If you got that Islam thing, I'm talking about jakes. If you got one of those things, man, you know, I'm seeking out them virgins, right? In Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. Never went to no so-called religion, ain't seeking nothing. So you're gonna be cleaned up from yourself. Of course, like I said, you have other people in other beliefs and stuff like that. You know, I talk to them from time to time, but I'm not really focusing on that because it's hard for them to get up out of there. You know, it's like you don't put new wine in old bottles because the old bottle is gonna crumble. And back in the days, you had bottles made of skin, animal skin. So that animal skin, that leather, is basically gonna start and get flappy. You know? And then you're gonna have to throw it away. You know? If it's glass, it's something else. But still, glass can get old too. Have you ever seen old glass up on the street? It looks very horrible, right? But then the new glass, hey, that looks good, right? So Isaiah 60 and 2, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Yeah, man, because you're going to have the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Everybody going to be looking at you like, this guy's different or something like that. I don't know, something about him. You know, and then once they talk to you, they might find out something, you know. Praise not a man unless you hear him talk. You know, so that's that part, verse 3. So it says here, and the Gentiles shall come to the light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. And those Gentiles is going to be the Israelite foreigners, but you're going to have the heathen nations they're going to come to, and they're going to serve us. They're going to want to serve us because they're going to look at the history of the things that happened to them and all the generations, all the kingdoms, I should say, actually, that happened before. They're going to know the history because the Most High is going to make it to where we're going to share the history throughout from the beginning of the creation, which is not millions of freaking years, which is a few thousand years ago, right? Throughout the creation itself unto today, modern day on Babylon and Egypt, right? Unto today, modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Everybody's going to know about the truth, and they're going to be happy that the Jacob descendants are going to be in rulership, right? They're going to be in power because that's what the Most High is going to set up, right? He's already setting it up right now. Psalms chapter 50 shows you that, you know, and I will raise them up in front of you. You know, Psalms, Ezekiel 37 also, the army of the Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is being raised up right now. We shall find out who is who. I'm not talking about your name or what ancient man you would be. I'm not into that. I do what I do right now. You know, I believe what I believe right now. I'm not talking about, oh, he must be here. I ain't got time for that. No, it goes on. It says here, verse 4. Lift up thine eyes round about, and see all they gather themselves together. They shall come to thee. Thy son shall come from far, and thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side. Because that's what you want. You want your daughters to be nursed on your side so they get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And the sons are going to be like plants. They're going to be planted up and not rooted out. Because we have been rooted out right now, you know. But now we're going to be planted by Yahweh Shem Yahushua in pots. Zechariah chapter 14 explains that to you. We're going to be planted. Like Judah shall be the pleasant plant of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and Israel shall be his vineyard, which is another plant. We're going to be watered because we're going to stay near water, which is the scriptures, and we're going to meditate therein day and night. So you're going to have Yahweh Shem Yahushua all around you. You're going to eat, breathe, sleep Yahweh Shem Yahushua in these days. And in the kingdom, you don't have to do it because then it's going to be natural. You know, you don't have to actually force yourself to do it or think about doing it. You know, oh shit, I gotta make a video today. Oh shit, I gotta do this and stuff like that, right? It's going to be, we're not going to make videos. We're going to be the establishment of the law itself, like this movie called Judge Dredd. If you check out Judge Dredd, the one with Sylvester Stallone, he knew the law, but out of his mind. And by the way, the law is not going to save you. It's the faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because if you break one, you broke them all. You know? So, but does that mean that you should break them? No. It means that you are, Yahweh to say you're going to be, every sin can be forgiven, except the sin of blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You might have people that come up in this truth, teach for a while, get out, and trying to come back. Some are allowed to come back by certain people, but the Spirit is basically going to root you out eventually. You're going to start not wanting to do this work anymore. You're going to complain, oh man, I got to do this every Saturday. Man, it's a sunny day out here. You know, you got these chicks out here, So people don't want to do this work anymore, man. They'll be like, nah, I want to live in the world. You're going to die with the world. Because Yahushua said, let the dead bury the dead. Let them, you know, because they're dead, walking around dead. So let the dead bury the dead. Because you're dead if you believe in this world. She that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. And also the other one is, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So Isaiah chapter 60 verse 5. So it says here, then shalt thou see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be covered, shall be converted unto thee. Yeah, man. The abundance of the sea is going to be everything, because King David is going to be in the sea, for example. Here, the sea is talking about the people. And King David is going to be ruler over that sea. Malak the what? So it says here, Psalms 80, 89 and 20. Psalms 89 and 20. I have found David my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him. Let me see. Okay, verse 21. With whom my hand shall be established. What is the hand of the Lord? The hand of the Lord is the righteousness, the righteous side. So the Most High is going to get that war started, and he's going to be the leader of that hand of his on the right hand side. With whom my hand shall be established, mine arm also shall strengthen him. The Most High is going to give him that power so that he will prevail. The enemy shall not exact upon him, nor the son of wickedness afflict him. The enemy is not going to exact any type of enforcement, authority, or rule, or any type of, how you call the thing again? Tribute and stuff like that. Like the tariffs that Esau be pulling upon people, the tariffs and stuff like that. Well, you're not going to be able to put that on King David, because he's going to smack them, man. I can't wait. And I will beat down his foes before his face and plague them that hate him. So if you hate him, you die. Right? You hate him, you hate David, you die. King David. So it says, but my faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him, and in my name shall his horn be exalted. That's his horn. That's the power that he will have. You know what I'm saying? It's not talking about it's not talking about a horn as like Satan or something like that cartoon figure. That's not real. You know, the horns is representative of power. Because if you have an animal, which like a ram, you know, like a ram, you know, the ones that are in the mountains and stuff like that. If you take away the horns from a ram, what do they have? They're not, you know, you smack them around. But give him those horns and let him headbutt you. See what happens to you. He's going to crack his skull. So he's very dangerous. It represents power. That's like a lion with no teeth. He's not that scary. He can smack you, still break your neck. That's the truth. But a lion with no teeth is not that scary. That's why King David says, oh, break this teeth. It's talking about the nations. The powerful nations are seen as lions too. King David was talking about break their teeth. Yeah, so Isaiah chapter 60 verse, Psalms 89 verse 25. I will set his hand I will set his hand also in the sea, and his right hand in the rivers, because he's going to be in the prosperity, and his hand is going to be in the sea, which means that he's going to dip his hand into the riches of the heathen nations, according to the book of Isaiah chapter 60. It shows you that we're going to be having our hand within the riches of these nations, man. You know, they're going to breed daughters. They're going to go out there and mine gold, silver, whatever we want, you know. And for brass, I will bring gold, something like that. For brass. For brass. For brass, I will bring gold. Isaiah 60 and 17, which I'm there anyway. For brass, I will bring gold, and for iron, I will bring silver. So so we have a lot of brass already, right? The Most High is going to replace that with gold. So as much brass you have, let me see. Let's give an example, right? The first sentence. So it says here, for brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver. What's the last time you saw brass? Many a times. What's the last time you saw silver? Many a times. So let me go on. And for wood, brass. What's the last time you saw wood? Every day I'm looking at wood. Let me go on. I will also make the officers wait. And for stones, iron. So let me read it again. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood, brass, and for stone, iron. So as much brass as you can see and have, that's how much the Most High is going to replace that with gold. And for iron, the Most High is going to give you silver, right? Because the iron is all over the place. Well, instead of iron, basically, that's how much you see. The Most High is going to replace that with silver. And for stones, iron. What's the last time you saw stone? You're walking on it. Well, that's how much iron the Most High is going to basically give us. Because the earth has all these things. All these things are earth things. And he can increase it. Look, the Most High made a flower to blossom in one day. And it was a dead flower too. Meaning, it was a branch that was cut off. A branch that was cut off is not supposed to grow. Numbers 18. But the Most High said, I will hasten the time. So Numbers 18 and, no, I think it's 17. No? Wait, no, 17. He made it grow in a very quick time. Jeremiah 1 also says that. So it says here, Numbers 17 and 5. And it shall come to pass that the man's rod whom I shall choose shall blossom, and I will make to cease from me the murmuring of the children of Israel, whereby they murmur against you. So if you read the chapter, all 12 tribes, they had to put, every man of them, one stick. They had to put a stick in a place. If I'm correct, it was the ark. Right? So going on. Verse 8. Yeah. Verse 7. And Moses laid up the rods before Yahweh in the tabernacle of witness. So it was in the tent, with the ark of the tabernacle. And it came to pass that on the morrow Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded, and brought forth buds, and bloomed to blossom, and yielded almonds. So the Most High made it to where one day was needed in order for the cut off branch to blossom flowers, to blossom on a seed like almond. And he sped it up in one day, like 24 hours, and it started to have stuff that you can basically eat off of. Well, that's how the Most High is going to speed the time up. That's how he's going to make you prosperous. That's how he's going to make you great. That's how he's going to make it to where you will have the gold grow, because gold grows. If you are 1 year here, you're standing here, and you are in a forest in South America somewhere or something like that, or Africa, and the gold is there. If you leave it, like is like in natural gold. I'm not talking about gold that is already fractured, manufactured and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about gold that is raw. You still need to burn it, so it's still under the ground, or it in the cracks of the stone and stuff like that. But I'm talking about the ground right now. If it starts here, like here, if you come back next year, it's actually here. So it went from here, and it grew to there. That's how gold grows, and it branches like how you have veins in your body. In your body, you have veins. That's how gold basically moves about upon the planet Earth. The Most High is going to speed it up to where one day, all of a sudden, maybe 1 ton, 100,000 kilos or something like that, grew in one day. That's what Yahweh Bashem Yahshai could do, man. And he will. Because he's going to give us abundance. So as much as you see stone, that's how much silver is going to be shown. As much as how you see brass of wood, that's how much brass the Most High is going to bring. And you can build stuff with brass. You can build stuff with iron, because the Hamites, the Philistines, they had chariots of iron. So they was very powerful, and you can't stop them. If you have a sword of wood, and then you go fight a sword of brass, and a sword of silver, and a sword of gold, and a sword of iron, who do you think sword is going to break? Everybody's going to break except the iron. Because it's strong. So that's how the Most High is going to set things up. We're going to be the golden iron, because we're going to be so beautiful, and we're going to be strong at the same time. And you can't go back, you can't fall. It's impossible, because it's going to be created to be impossible. Right? So going back to Isaiah 60, I was already there, but I mean, like, back to verse 5. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because of the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. Like I said, King David is going to have his hand in the sea, and he's going to basically rule over them. He's going to have the abundance, and then therefore we're going to have the abundance, because Yahweh Shai is going to give it to us all. Rather it be the 2/3 that died and came back, they're going to actually benefit also, because they're going to be greater than Elijah. Yeah, because Elijah, what could he do? He could make infinite amounts of food. If you read First Kings chapter 17, you will see that he made infinite food, infinite water, infinite oil actually. Well, he can do the same thing with infinite water. He could just basically have a little pot like this, like a cup, whatever, glass, and then continually pour it out, and it would be indefinitely. Continually and indefinitely, and he did it for 3 years. Let me read that real quick, and then I'll stop this. So First Kings, chapter 17, verse. Let me see here. First Kings 17. What's the Kings here? First Kings 17, and let me see something. Yeah, First Kings 17, and First Kings 17. Where did I put it? Okay, First Kings 17:13. It says, and Elijah said unto her, fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me therefore a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and make after for thee and thy son. And after make for thee and for thy son, right? So he told the woman, like, okay, go make some food, make a cake and stuff like that, make it for me first, and then make it for yourself and for your son, right? Verse 14, for thus saith Yahweh the power of Israel, right? The barrel of meal shall not waste. That's what he said. Because she was afraid. If you read the chapter, she was afraid. She said, man, I ain't got nothing left. I'm about to just go make the last meal of mine and basically die of starvation. and me and my son. That's what she said, right? She's like, oh man, I'm gonna die of starvation or something like that. But he said, don't worry about that. Fear not. Just go do what I tell you to do. And she did it. It was an Israelite woman living in the land of Canaan. So going on, so it says here, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail. So she had but a little bit of oil, and she had but a little bit of flour, meal, to make like a cake and stuff like that. You know, a little bread and just to eat and basically die, right? So, and by the way, he stopped the rain from falling. Verse 1, I'll read it in verse 1. Verse 17, chapter 1, 17, verse 1. And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as Yahweh the power of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. So he blocked the rain from coming. So no rain means famine. No rain means famine. So, you know, back in the days, they didn't have the means to ship out water from a river and then basically water the entire land. You can't do that. Where you gonna get them trucks from? If you had spiritual power, you could do it. Elijah could do it, but he's the one that actually reversed it. Like, no, it ain't raining here, right? So going back to verse 14. Okay, I already read that. So he stopped rain from coming up on the planet Earth. Verse 15. And she went and did according as to the saying of Elijah. And she and he and her house did eat many days. And the barrel of meal, here it comes, and the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of Yahweh, which he spake by Elijah. These are the type of powers that the Israelites are going to get. You see Esau with his little stupid magic in Disney World and all that type of crazy stuff. That's some real satanic stuff what they're doing. That real magic, that's real. Because that's why they teach your children, for example, to read out of which books, which books, you know, for children and stuff like that. That's what they're doing. You know why? Because they know that that intrigues the child to see fun, magical type of things and all that type of stuff, right? Because that's what they do. And then they bring witchcraft up in the system, bring witchcraft up in your family, which is all against Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. He's the main bandit upon the planet Earth that pushes witchcraft. Ain't no other nation does it. You see, and if they do it behind the scenes. You see, Asia does it, Japan especially. How? They got them cartoons and stuff like that, or the mangas, whatever they call them things. You see a lot of witchcraft up in there too. Be like, damn, they want to be just like Esau, you know. But anyway, there's a lot of magic going on around there too, and they bringing the youth up with that, you know. And going back to 1 Kings chapter 17, but no, I'll jump to 1 Kings 18 and 1. And it came to pass after many days that the word of Yahweh came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show thyself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. So what does that mean? That means she had food for 3 years in that little box of meal that she had. A barrel, was it? What was a barrel? In that little barrel of meal, that wooden barrel that had meal up in it, which is flour, and also that little cruse, which was a little bottle of oil. So again, the power that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua gave the Jacob descendants, and is going to give the Jacob descendants nowadays, in this day and age, once they get that spiritual power, this type of power they're gonna get. They're gonna get the power to have infinite food, infinite water. Like I said, you could just take a glass of water like this, and then pour it, and you could just hold it for 3 years. You can fill up a whole river with that. That's going to be more than rain. That's going to be more than any river can be filled by just a few days of rain or something like that. Nah, you're going to have it 3 years, man. It's going to be this small, but still you can fill up a whole ravine. You can fill up a whole ravine with that, you know what I'm saying? So, he that shall be least in the kingdom shall be greater than Elijah. Elijah could make infinite food, man. Let that sink in. He could make infinite water, or fluids, I should say, because it was oil. He can do the same thing with water. But the Most High told him, go drink from the brook. And then he drank from the brook, until the brook dried up because there was no rain, and then he moved to inwards in the land of Canaan, or it was in the land of Philistines. One of those two. Let me see. Sidon. He went to Sidon, which is the land of Canaan. He went to Sidon, the Sidonians, which were the Canaanites, and then he went there and found an Israelite living in that region, because the Israelites were scattered in that time also. But you still had a bulk of them living in Jerusalem, and then the rest of them was all sprouted about, that type of stuff. Hamath, Zidon, Tyre. You had Jacob descendants living in those regions over there. But anyway, Isaiah 60 and 6. The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries is of Midian. That's what we're going to get. And Ephah, all day from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of Yahweh. And the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebajoth shall minister unto thee. By the way, Kedar are Ishmaelites, Nebajoth Ishmaelites, and Midian are, well, let me say it better. They're associated with the Ishmaelites. But Kedar is an Ishmaelite, Nebajoth also, which come from Ishmael. Midian is a brother of Ishmael, but he's associated to the Ishmaelites. That's why they call him Arab, which means mixed multitude. They're all together. Just like how you have the 12 tribes. Well, now the 12 tribes are all dispersed amongst each other, so they don't know who is who and what is what. Why? Because they've been sold to different regions and stuff like that, and then therefore you don't know anymore. You might have an idea like, okay, I'm from this tribe, just because of your region or just because of the way that your mind thinks or feels or whatever. You might have that, but the basis, what we base that thought off of, is the 12 tribe signs from the elder apostles at Great Millstone. There on the 12 tribe signs is the signs that we base off our tribes from. But just like I always said, you have people that are, for example, just an example, there have been they've been from Haiti, and then they moved into America, and now through generations of grafting in and stuff like that, maybe 200-300 years later, after his descendants made children in America, now they would come up thinking that they're Judah, for example. So to that type of extent, you don't know. You might have an Issacharite, living in so-called Mexico and stuff like that, going to America, marrying a Judite woman, having children, and that Judite son goes out and has another Judite woman and stuff like that, and then they have another Judite woman, and then they have another Judite woman. Before you know it, they look like Judites, right? Before you know it, they look like Judites. And then they're going to think they're Judites. But they're Issacharites. You see what I'm saying? So, we still base it off of the laying foundation of the elder apostles at Great Millstone. But that is where you base your location from, or something like that, Your geographical tribal location, or whatever you want to call it. Because I was having a discussion with a person that says like the 12 tribe signs of the people of Great Millstone, that's not correct. And then I gave him the example that I gave you. It's the basis, it's the foundation of to branch out to wherewith you know that, okay, these people are Israelites. Now you have different tribes living in the midst of different places amongst each other that are originally not from that tribe, but they have grown up to see themselves as those tribes. Don't matter, don't worry about that. The point is, these lands are the lands where the Israelites have been sold, where the Israelites have been working, where the Israelites have been living, and all that where they died, when they went to war, where they lived and stuff like that, where they were born. So that's how we base that off concerning the 12 tribe signs of Great Millstone, right? So Isaiah 60 and 80. Who are these that fly as a cloud and as the doves to their windows? Surely the island shall wait for me, the ships of Tarshish first, which is the ships of Japheth. and they were working for the Canaanites. But nowadays, the modern day ships of Tarshish are the Ishmaelites, and the modern day Canaanites are the Edomites. So the ships of Tarshish always used to work for Canaan, but nowadays it's the ships of Ishmael in the Suez Canal. They work for Esau. They bring in the stuff for Esau. Also, you got the Panama Canal, you know, which the daily revenue of the Suez Canal is $15 million and 13 million in euro daily. It climbs and goes down. And the yearly income of the Panama Canal is I read somewhere it was like 9 billion or something like that. But then other places says 5. But you know these Edomites, are they going to tell you everything that they have? Are you going to tell everybody what type of money you have on the bank? That's not how things work. Esau is very secretive. All the things that come out upon him and that are dead accurate they make it their own tongue to fall upon themselves. That's how they get crumbled. That's why they want to kill a lot of their telltellers, like their snitches. Right, Isaiah 60 and 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I have had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gate shall be open continually, that they be not shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So that's how it represents that King David is going to have his hand in the sea, you know, and he's going to be near rivers of water, because he's going to be prosperous and he's going to get all the things of the heathens. And he's going to be under Yahushua, right? Under Yahushua. And then you're going to have under Malak the what? You're going to have the 144,000. Well, the 12. 12. Then the 144,000. And then the 1/3. And then the 2/3. That's how the ranking system is going to go in the kingdom. You know? And the least of them is going to be the false teachers. Let me get that real quick, then I'm wrap it up. Isaiah. What is it again? No. Oh no, Matthew. Matthew 5, 17. No, 19. So it says Matthew 5 and 19, right? It says right here. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do them and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So guess what? If you do these words and you teach others to do the same thing that is written in the scriptures, right? Do as Yahushua did. That's what the scripture says, right? But the law is not going to save you, because if you break one, you broke them all. If you break adultery law, then you broke a murder law. You know what I'm saying? If you break this law, you broke that one. You broke them all. So, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep it. And that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, don't build your faith on it. That's what I'm saying. Because if you build your faith on it, you're going to be all bent out of shape because you broke one. You know? I know people that ate bread, like bread with leaven in it. They ate it on the Passover. You know, the Pesach. They ate it multiple times, not just one. Of course, the Lord is going to forgive them. But if you're all bent out of shape, because I know a guy that was all bent out of shape, man, I'm telling you, don't worry about that, man. He was really bent out of shape. So don't worry about it. Next year, you're going to do it again. Because it's only one time a year you can actually participate in that. So he felt fucked up. But that's why you have comfort one another with these words. And then you comfort the spirit. Anyway, so the false prophets are going to be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Right? So Matthew 11 and 14. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, they had not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Verse 14. And if he will receive it, this is Elijah, which was to come. Yeah, which was for to come. So who's John? John is Elijah, right? And if you are a false teacher, a false prophet, the Most High is going to make you least in the kingdom of heaven, right? So if the least of the kingdom of heaven is going to be greater than John the Baptist, and John the Baptist is Elijah, and Elijah was able to make infinite food, infinite water, or infinite liquid, infinite oil. He's infinite, he can make that. That's the type of power he had. He can make it stop raining for 3 years. He could call the rain after 3 years. If he can do that, and he was and the least of the kingdom of heaven is going to be greater than him, then, and remember, Elijah could actually move apart the waters. Elisha, which had the power of Elijah, but doublefold of his own, but then twofold of his master Elijah, what could he do? He could open your eyes and make you see like a radar. You know how you have Esau has his radar technology, right? Then he can see things that are not really they're there, but you can't see them. So Elisha could make it to where you could have the eyes of a radar. So you don't need all that computerized nonsense and stuff like that, man. You don't need all that tech. All you need is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and you can basically have a radar built in your system by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Is how you deck out your PC. You always upgrade your PC and stuff like that to go along with the times, to do certain things, make videos faster now. You got a hard drive and stuff like that, so you can do things more, you can do more things. Speaking of that, I need to go fix me some stuff too. Anyway, we're done now. Do it tomorrow. Right, so yeah. So you have that going on around there upon the planet Earth. Those type of things are going on upon the planet Earth. Yeah, so you're gonna have the least of the kingdom. Yeah, it's gonna be greater than John the Baptist. So you can imagine what type of power the least of the flock the least of the Israelites shall have in the kingdom. So how much more shall the ones shine that do keep Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's ways? Daniel chapter 12, man. It shows you that. You know what? Let me get that last one. Daniel 12 and I think it's 4 or something like that. Daniel 12 and Daniel 12 and 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going out to be the greedy one, talking about I'm trying to turn everybody to righteousness. Because on purpose, I'm not talking to everybody. It's not a good thing. You shouldn't share everything with everybody. You shouldn't even share everything with your girl. Your mother, your father, whatever, your brother. Don't share everything with anybody, because that's just stupid. Don't be gossiping about somebody else neither. If a man has his wife, don't be bothering him with his wife, man. Talking all that shit, because you still until this day you have men that have that women type of, they can't shut the fuck up. They're always talking about somebody else's family or somebody else's wife. Hey man, did you hear what he did with his girl? Shut up. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash, double honor sent to the elder apostles and great millstone for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. And shalom to the sincere Akim across the world. Shalom.